everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching. Welcome back to Cherry and Timber Talk. It's quite an exciting time of the year. It's March, mid March, and I think we are heading towards April. It's kind of reminding me that we started off this show in April 2020. So we are kind of close to, having 2 years of Cherry and Timber Talk. So, yeah, I think it's fair to say, Mahesh, that the show has survived the test of times.
Yes, it has.
So speaking of test of times, we are really lucky to have. I don't know if I can call him young anymore. Young Yashaswee Raman, who was a 20-year-old, 22-year-old who made a debut on our show a couple of years ago. But he's the author of the book, The Test of Times. Here it is, guys. So if you haven't bought it yet, please go to Amazon.com and purchase this book. It's extremely insightful and shares some lovely stories about Indian cricket. And if you are a big Indian cricket fan, and if you want to learn about the history of Indian cricket, about some of those past heroes that we have always heard about but don't know, intricate details on, this is the book to go to. And welcome to the show, Yashasvi.
Thank you very much, Venu. Thank you very much, Mahesh. This is a fantastic. It's a privilege coming back on the show. This idea basically had started from this book, or from this show. Sorry, when we had that show way back 2 years ago in July. I think it was in July. There was some very bad internet connection issues that day. If we,
Correct.
if you remember. But yes, we have come. I have come a long way. Writing this book, and it was a pleasure. It's pleasure talking about the book with you guys. I'm really excited for the show, and let's see how it goes on.
Wonderful. So yeah, pleasure having you back again, and we are extremely delighted that it was our show that kind of got you this platform, as well as got you this motivation to kind of do this. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's always a delight to see your talent coming into fruition, and
Definitely.
kind of getting into this book, right? So it's like it's amazing, right? So we are. I can't wait to kind of finish this book. I haven't finished it yet, but yeah, Mahesh definitely has. So yeah, Mahesh, go ahead and ask Yashasvi whatever you want to about the book.
First of all, Yashasvi, congratulations on writing this
Thank you.
beautiful book. I think
Thank you very much.
anybody who wants to know about Indian history of cricket, okay, uh, should definitely read this book, because what Yashasvi has very nicely done is he's got everything in one book. So so instead of going to different pages in the internet and scouting and not sure whether that is the right story or anything, this is very good. You have got everything in one book, and you can just read it and it's very friendly. It's not heavy at all, but at the same time he narrates the stories very well. So I thought it was a very good book. I think somebody like me can sit through the book in one sitting. I could finish, and that's what I normally do with cricket books. So I could finish it off, and I think it was very well written. Um, the first question I want to ask you was, what was the biggest challenge writing this book?
There were two challenges basically when it comes to big challenges. One was my college schedule, and being in second year MBA, you are at the verge of finishing your course. You were there. A lot of things go on. You have assignments, you have all those stuffs, and you want to complete it. And even the book is there. So college was a very big challenge for me. And because MBA is very hectic, and placement season was going on as well, while I had started the book. So pressure, placement pressure, everything goes on. You start thinking a lot of things. Kya hoga, kya nahi hoga? Can you be able to finish the book? Can you be able to concentrate on your studies and everything? That was one challenge. And one more challenge which I felt was getting the data out of the book. There were a lot of data. There were a lot of data which went back way back to 1900s. So the
Okay.
1900s datas were very hard to get. And there were a lot of mistakes which I found out. There were actually confusions. One place had written something, the other place had written something. So you had to dig down and understand which is right and which is wrong. So these were
Correct.
the two challenges. But yeah, the second challenge was easy to get off, but the first challenge was a predominant challenge which I faced all throughout the book.
Hmm. Interesting.
Very interesting.
So how was the overall experience, Yashasvi, when you started with the idea towards the execution stage, towards signing a publication, all those things, just take us through that story, right? So how was his entire experience? I mean, any young writer out here who wants to write a book, we just want to hear your experience in terms of what all did you go through, what were the challenges, what all did you enjoy in the entire journey. So just your summary of the same.
It was very interesting to write something. So what actually used to happen is, when I used to write the book, I used to take one space in the library, in my college's library, and I used to sit there. So there was this particular junior, and she actually, that was her place. She used to reserve it, and she used to come, she used to see me, and she used to get irritated. She's like, why are you sitting in my place? And I just said her one thing: it's first come, first serve. And because at that point of time, I hadn't told a lot of people that this is going on, the book is being written and everything. So that was one thing. Yeah, I wanted to be very secretive. So when this book got published, everybody in the college got to know and everything. So she came and told, now I understood why you used to take that place. So that was one thing. And people have been very supportive throughout the book. They have been very supportive. You're not with your family, you're with a different set of people, your friends are there. And I still remember, very fondly, there were 2 to 3 incidents which I'll also narrate. One was, there was a time in January first week. I think it was January first week. I mean, we were going very nicely. The pace was good, but it was because we were reaching towards the end of the book, and it was getting a little tiresome. And I was doing a chapter on Nari Contractor,
Mhm.
and I said that is one of my favorite chapters. I don't know why, but I call that one of my favorite chapters, because that talks about how destiny, that man was made for cricket. You see, destiny actually, he was born in Godhra, didn't get selected for Bombay, went on to play for Gujarat, and then went on to play for India and whatnot. So I felt that was and that day I was feeling a little tiresome, and I told one of my friends, very close friends, that I want to take a rest today, and it was a Sunday. I want to take a rest, and he just said one thing. I may not be able to say that on camera, what the were the exact words, but he said this: if you do भाई तू अगर आज नहीं करेगा, maybe you might lag, and what plan you have, that would be very, you won't be able to succeed in the plan. And also there was a period where it was just the finish of the book, last things, I was just writing the acknowledgement and the last chapter about the 83 World Cup. I fell sick to COVID.
Oh, okay.
And that point of time, what happened in our college, the system was, we had to, the people who had COVID had to be shifted to another place.
Hmm.
So that became another very stressful time. But yes, you have your family there, you have your parents, you have your good friends around. That made it very easy. And I should say, I'll never ever forget the contract signing. It was, I signed the contract on 10th of January. It was around 6 o'clock. I had asked everybody, on the dining table, when we have this group actually, which we call the people who eat together. There are 15, 16 members, and I just asked them, can you come at 6? I'll be signing. And then they told, what happened, what is the thing? I just said, we're signing the contract, I would love if you guys be there.
Hmm.
Everybody came, and there was a class at 7:30. There was a class in 7:30 in the evening. Still people came, and that is how make it big. There's a lot of support from people, and that is how good things happen. And I still remember, when the book went live, we had a small function as well, in the canteen area. We call it student center. We had this everything set up. We had everything set up. Everybody was there. There was, they made a poster. They made a lot of things. I don't know if I have the poster, but they made a lot of things. They posted it on walls. They put it in all the 5 hostels there. They distributed to professors. Everything. That was very special for me.
Nice.
Very,
That's
very nice to
so,
hear this story, right?
so Yashasvi became a hero in the college, huh?
Yes,
Nice, nice. Good
definitely.
to hear that.
So
Uh,
you touched upon Nari Contractor, and
Hmm,
you said that he was that was one of the chapters that you loved writing
hmm,
about.
hmm.
Which other cricketer actually inspired you the most?
I actually, whenever I read the story of Vinu Mankad, Salim Durrani, I really love these stories, and Salim Durrani actually, narrates about how Vinu Mankad actually helped him,
yeah.
about how he actually became a good cricketer. So, Salim Durrani actually said that he was an ambidextrous bowler, and this Vinu Mankad used to tie his right hand and ask him to bowl left hand. So those are one of those stories which actually inspired me. Vinu Mankad, I don't know, those running out the batsman outside the popping crease, that has always made me feel good. So maybe that's one story, that is why I feel very happy, feel
Mhm.
extremely excited about Vinu Mankad. And there's also Lala Amarnath, there is Vijay Merchant. When I wrote the book, I have felt really inspired, hearing different stories, and also the first story about Palwankar Ballu.
Yeah.
At that point of time, India as a country was not very developed.
Mm.
A lot of bad things, not bad, I want to say bad thing, a lot of differences were there. And so
Mm.
still a person comes out of that, he does well. So it shows that even you can do it no matter what. You have to be strong, you have to be you have to have the psychological edge over others, and you can do well. So overall, I really loved writing every chapter of the book. Every chapter had its own challenges, every chapter had its own had its own good things about writing the chapter. And it was all a happy go stuff.
Interesting. I mean, glad that you spoke about Venu Mankad. Unfortunately, we could not get Bhash today on the show. I was
Yes.
trying to get him on the show, but he's traveling. But yeah, he would have loved to hear that story as well, right? So,
I actually told him when they removed the term man kidding recently. I felt like it was a personal victory, because
yeah.
what I have always felt is, when you call a person's surname, because it's a family name, you're
Yes.
not actually insulting the man, you're insulting a family and saying
Yes.
that's illegal, that's an insult. If somebody comes and tells, because I said this somewhere else as well, if you come and say Raman is illegal, it will be, it's not insulting just for me but for the whole family. So
Correct.
I actually felt very bad when this happened. And if you have touched this, I'll just tell you one small story. So we were having I was a part of a sports committee in my college, and a certain I had asked the question to a certain person, because interviews were going on. So I had asked the candidate, can you tell me all the forms of how you can get out in cricket, the 10 forms? And he told man kidding, and that triggered me. I told him we'll have a discussion. I'll have a discussion with you sometime later, but you don't call that man kidding. You call it run out.
Hmm.
So it felt like a personal victory when that was removed.
Yep.
We in fact had a complete show on that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
That,
yes.
that was one of
So,
our really good ones, right? And we got two perspectives, one from Bhash and one from Annie, who is based out of the UK, and she writes for Guerrilla Cricket, and she's a well-known cricket analyst. So I think that the highlight of the show was how we, spoke about two different angles. The way, the Mankad, side of the story, as well as, the other side of the story, where we have the spirit of the game, being questioned and stuff. So it was quite interesting because there were so many points discussed right on that issue. Love it. So yeah, I saw a couple of chapters, which I thought you should probably speak about. One is Colonel C.K. Naidu. That's from a personal standpoint, because I always remember my grandfather used to tell a lot of stories about him. And when I was watching cricket in the '90s, when I spoke about Sachin Tendulkar to him, and he was, did you know that Colonel C.K. Naidu was like that? He was always a very strong hitter, and he used to come and entertain and hit, and that's how he used to play, right? So that's one. Second is obviously Mansoor Ali Khan Patodi, right? So I think
Yeah,
these are some of the inspirational stories
yes.
with just one eye. If you could speak about them in detail.
Yeah, Mansoor, when I was writing the book, I was sure I had to write about Mansoor Ali Khan Patodi. And I actually wrote in the legacy part of Mansoor Ali Khan Patodi, that as a 13-year-old, when I heard Mansoor Ali Khan is no more, and they were romanticizing him on all the news, the 42 test matches only. What is the big deal? No, I actually said this. What is the big deal? 9 test matches. As a captain, he only won 9 test matches. What is the big deal? Anybody can do that, because at that point of time there was not a lot of maturity. But now when
Hmm.
I read about him, when I did research, when I understood, when I got better understanding about cricket, so I understood two things. India was not India what it is today. It was
Hmm.
something else back then. We had no series wins abroad. He goes there, brings in those beautiful spinners. He and I actually feel this. I don't know. I actually don't know if this is true. I don't know actually if if this might have happened. But I think Clive Lloyd's four theory might have been inspired by Mr. Pataudi,
Hmm.
because he was the first one to use all the four spinners. And when he used the four spinners in Birmingham in conditions where you actually are like, man, you need at least three pacers there. You're playing four spinners. What are you doing? What are you even thinking? So yeah, I felt that was one chapter. It inspired me a lot. That one eye. Come on,
Yeah.
you close one eye and you can't even write. And that person batted all day long. Played 42 test matches one eyed. And and one thing is there. Even after him retiring from the game, he was still with Indian cricket. And even I read about it even now when that 2000 saga happened, when everything went haywire in Indian cricket. He was
Hmm.
there to support. He was there to support, the
Yep.
Indian cricket. He was there to take decisions. So that is one thing which shows how big a player, how big a person he was. He's maybe an institution himself. We
Yep.
call Lalaji an institution in himself, and I also believe that even he was an institution.
Hmm.
And
To me, the
I
biggest highlight of Mansoor Ali Khan Pathaudi was, despite being from the royal family,
yes,
he was the only cricketer in India who would dive and slide.
yes. Yes, he was a fantastic fielder. What I hear, he was a very good offside fielder,
Yeah,
cover
between
punch
cover,
fielder.
extra cover, he was like a tiger. That's how. I
Yep.
mean, so that is very strange. I mean, the royal family would not normally dive and run and all, because our batsmen usually used to stand in the slips, and that's about it. Move from one slip to from this side to that side. But Pataudi was one guy who fielded brilliantly.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. And CK Naidu.
CK Naidu. I did one thing while writing the book. I actually decided one thing, that I'm not going to write their name like Naidu or
Hmm.
Amarnath. I made sure that I'll do Lalaji,
Hmm.
Naidu Sahab, Colonel Sahab, Pataudi Sahab, Nawab Sahab. I decided I'll do this
Hmm.
because there's a need to
As
give
a respect.
respect.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
there's a need to give, because I've never seen them.
Yep.
They don't even they don't even know that somebody has written about them. They may be sitting there and maybe having a drink or two. I don't know what they might be doing, but a respect needs to be given. And Colonel Naidu was one chapter which everybody should know. You should know who was your first captain.
Absolutely.
Why was he your first captain? He was given the colonel, from the Holkar family. When he was in the army, he was given. And how he became a cricketer. And he's a fantastic person. I feel you know how he actually built an Indian team. And he actually had a very good Indian team. He had Amar Singh and Mohammad Nisar. He had Wazir Ali. He had Wazir Ali. He had Naumal Jumal. So Firoz Palia. Everybody says that he was very unlucky not to get a lot of Test matches. Captain India well. Unfortunately, he was replaced by, I don't know how to tell him, but not a very competent captain. But yes, this is what it is. Cricket is it. This is cricket. You cannot actually you cannot actually stand on one thing for a long period of time until
Hmm.
and you just have to move on. But stories are inspiring. You learn a lot of things. And while reading also, writing the book was not only about just writing stats, writing stories, but it was also about understanding a lot of things, really hearing to stories, reading from other perspectives, and getting to know a lot of stuff. So that was one thing which I learned a lot. Every player, be it Salim Durrani, Ajit Wadekar, Nari Contractor, Farooq Engineer, everything I actually felt was very nice, and I learned a lot of new things every time I read the book. I read about them and wrote the book.
Interesting. Some nice tributes flowing in for you here, Yashasvi. Ashutosh Joshi says, need more books from Yashasvi Raman's pen. The language uses so narrative as if someone is actually sitting beside and taking a tour of the Indian
I
cricket
agree.
operations.
I agree with that.
Thank you, Ashutosh, for your comment.
And we
And
all
Thank you,
know from
Ashu.
where, and we all know that Colonel Naidu was, Dilip Vengsakar was called Colonel because he
Yeah.
batted very similar to the way Colonel Naidu
Hmm.
batted. And that in that domestic match when he hit for against the rest of India, he
Hmm.
smashed Chandrasekhar, Prasanna, and Bedi all over the ground,
Very.
and that's how he got the name Colonel, right?
Hmm. Yep.
So Colonel Naidu was a very aggressive batsman.
Hmm.
yep.
Yeah, he was an aggressive batsman. And in 1926, when MCC toured India, when MCC toured India, they wanted to see how is the development of the sport. And if memory serves me right, he scored around 100 plus runs in a very limited period of time, in 110 or 12 minutes. So that is like 112 minutes is around 112 balls if we take 1 minute per ball.
Hmm.
At that point of time, minutes were, and that is when he was gifted a silver bat, and he used to hit balls all long way, everywhere, all around the ground in Bombay Gymkhana. And there's one more story to it. There's one more story to it. A 15-year-old Vijay Merchant was there watching the game, and he was inspired by Mr. Naidu that he should also take the game up. So this is one thing, whenever I read this story, my goodness, it gets goosebumps. How one, and the first line of the preface is Indian cricket is made of stories and has become great because people have adored cricketers. And that
Correct.
is what actually has happened. One generation has inspired another.
Yes,
Merchant inspired Umrigar inspired someone else, Gavaskar inspired Tendulkar inspired Rohit inspired Prithvi. So, and this will continue. Prithvi might
absolutely.
inspire someone else, and that person might inspire someone else. And I've said this a lot of times, with the way Indian cricket is going, cricket in general is in very good hands. That's
Yes.
that's something which nobody should worry about.
Hmm.
So let's talk about chapter 15, ML
Yeah,
Jaisimha and Dilip Sardesai.
lovely.
According to Gavaskar, his idol was ML Jaisimha. So that goes to
Hmm.
show that he must be a really good player, right?
Correct.
But ML Jaisimha never captained India, or did he captain India?
No, he never captained India. In my sense, I think he never captained India.
Yeah. Because Pataudi became the captain. I mean, what for whatever reason. I mean, he was taking got the captaincy very early.
But Pataudi played under Jaisimha for Hyderabad when
Correct.
Yeah.
And Jaisimha played under him for the Indian team.
For India.
in India. Yes, when Pataudi actually went to Hyderabad, he was playing under Jaisimha. And
Interesting.
it is also told Jaisimha was a fantastic leader because in 71, Wadekar was actually assisted at period of times by Jaisimha. And that actually helped him helped Wadekar become better. And Wadekar, for all sense, was a brilliant captain. And even though, Jaisimha, that was Jaisimha's last tour, Jaisimha never played for
Correct.
India. Jaisimha never played for India, but that was at times you don't play and you don't make runs, but your presence in the field, presence in the ground makes it very comfortable for the captain. And we see this, in present times when MS Dhoni was not in the best of forms, he was a support for Virat Kohli.
Yep.
In many senses, expertise is there. He gave his expertise, made them understand what happens, how it happens. Now, at times, you have to appreciate that and go along with it.
Hmm. Correct. Yep, and there's one more chapter on Gundappa Vishwanath and
Yes,
Sunil Gavaskar as
Sunil
well.
Gavaskar.
I think that's one combination which was it had silken touch, right? So obviously both great players, and both slightly different as well as
Yes.
quite similar as well. So why don't you talk about that as well?
When I was growing up, I always heard I heard stories of three cricketers while
Hmm.
growing up. It was Gundappa, Sunil together,
Hmm.
and Kapil Dev, and other was Sachin Tendulkar.
Yes.
These were the and I saw Sachin play as well because I saw Sachin play for a long period of time and saw him get better and better. And the best thing about when I used to hear about Gundappa and Sunil, Sunil Gavaskar, so stylish, so aggressive, and some big wins for Indian cricket, like 1976 Port of Spain. If it
Yeah.
wasn't for both of them, we might not have won.
Hmm.
Correct.
Maybe that's similarly, 1971 when we went to England. Sunil Gavaskar didn't get a lot of runs, but Gundappa Vishwanath was there at Oval. He played till the end. He had an engineer there. He had here everybody there. Wadekar with him. He had some players with him, and which he took along and took the game along. So it's actually inspiring. Everybody should actually understand from this is that it's not very difficult to be great and to be humble because these people are humble.
Hmm.
And one of my friends actually, recently while he was traveling, he had an opportunity to see Sunil Gavaskar. I think that they were in the same flight. I don't, and he asked for a photo, maybe. And very gracefully, he accepted. And that is the thing, Even you have played so much cricket, you have understood so much cricket. You have captained India. Both of them captained India, but you still are respected, you still have that humbleness, and you still want to give away to the society. That is one great thing about this place. And more than what I have always felt is more than the cricketing aspect. You need to learn about how to be an humble human being. How
Correct.
to be, yeah, how to be, how to have those 2 feet on the ground, cemented on the ground, and not jump in the air when a lot of things happen with you, you become a star and anything. So that is the same thing which I can also imply in life. Just one book, like just one century for a batsman, 100, maybe more to come. And if I was Sachin, I could have said 100 more to come. But yes, who knows? Let's do the second, then the third, maybe it might go on.
It's interesting, Mahesh. You were born in '98, Yashaswee?
Yeah, 98.
All right. It's interesting how he says, I saw Sachin bat and saw him get better and better. I think he was probably at his best in the year
I was
1998.
probably at his best. Yes, he was probably at his, and
Yeah, I think
Sharjah Storm actually happened 20 days before my birth.
Hmm.
that was his golden period. In fact,
Yes,
Sachin
Absolutely.
was at his
1800 ODI
real
runs.
best in
Yeah, I think
1998.
98 was a treat for any Sachin fan. And if you had seen him play in 98, 99, that
That
was
was
the
he was
time where
something
he was,
else.
nothing could stop him. He was
Correct.
literally the best in the world. I mean, I dare say even better than Brian Lara, who was
Oh,
probably
yeah.
one of his
Correct.
contemporaries, and he was like, a complete batsman, right? So against pace, against spin. But yeah, in 98, 99, if you saw Sachin bat, right, you could just not debate that he's the best player in the world, right? That was something which was phenomenal, and it was a treat to watch,
Correct. Yeah.
honestly. All right, great.
Two players that you mentioned, one is Salim Durrani and the
Yeah.
other is Farooq Engineer, two flamboyant players of India.
Hmm.
Okay. Tell us a little more about Salim Durrani and Farooq Engineer.
I'll tell you one thing why I wrote about Salim Durrani. I was actually confused. Should I write Durrani or shouldn't I write Durrani? Because, I was thinking the book is becoming a little big. I know 162 pages is a small book, but, what my target audience was, I was feeling it is actually, it's actually shooting up. I need to control it. Maybe I don't know if the attention span is this much or that much. I don't know. So I was trying to understand, trying to analyze, should I write? So as one of my very close friends, क्या करना चाहिए? He
Hmm.
said, go with Durrani. Because Durrani was something else. Durrani played in India and in West Indies. He didn't play anywhere else, but he had an impact. He was good with the bat, he was good with the ball. And it is very interesting to see, Durrani played first for Saurashtra, went to Gujarat on Jasu Patel's recommendation, and then went to Rajasthan. And it is also said that Rajasthan becoming a fantastic Ranji team at that point of time, maybe getting doing well, was actually Salim Durrani doing well for them, and Salim Durrani actually leading the way. So
Hmm.
I felt Salim Durrani has, and he's the first Arjuna awardee in cricket.
Yeah,
So
Correct.
I felt it
that's a
is
good
very
fact. Yeah, yeah.
when
And
somebody is
and there's one unique thing about Saril Durrani. I'm sure Mahesh wanted you to bring that out as well, right? The famous six on demand,
yes.
which he used to, which
Means,
he used to do.
there's one thing I actually was right. I actually checked the stat. Salim Durrani had only 8 or 9 sixes, and few of them came in his last series where he just smashed, and that became a folklore. That is Indian cricket, folklore. मार दिया दो छक्के डिमांड पे, yeah, that is it.
Which tells you also, right, how the game has changed over a period of
Yes.
time. Six hitting during those days with those bats, right, against that quality of bowling was
Correct.
extremely challenging as a
Right.
skill. And today, if you see that, six, I can hit six in an over, right? That's becoming so common, right? So in the
So common,
T20 era,
you hear someday Hashmatullah, sorry, some guy hitting. You see someday Karen
mm,
Pollard hitting. It has become common thing.
yeah, six used to
It's
be an event in those days, right? So
correct.
now it's
Yeah.
becoming a
Very
regular.
rare thing.
A dot ball has become an event in today's cricket. Yep.
And Salim Durrani picked up those 2 wickets, no? So,
Yes,
I think
in
Gary Sobers and
71,
Clive Lloyd.
Clive Lloyd and Gary
That's
Sobel in
how,
70.
yeah, and that's how the
And,
whole thing changed.
talking about Farooq Engineer, I have a fantastic stat for you guys. Farooq Engineer's father was a doctor, which made his name Doctor Engineer.
Oh, lovely.
So and and this was actually very funny. This I actually felt was very funny. And one more thing, his mother's name was Minnie, and somewhere I read it, Mother Minnie, and one of my friends' name is Minnie, and I used to tease her, "Hey, hello, Mother Minnie, come here." So, so this was one of these events, about Farooq.
Mm.
Farooq Engineer's brother also played for Karnataka. Ranji Trophy played for Karnataka. He saw him
Oh,
as
okay. I
a
didn't know
not he saw him as a notorious boy, and he picked him and put it in the Dadar Parsi colony cricket team. Chalo cricket खेलो. And as it is said, छोटे भाई को या नहीं तो थर्ड मैन पे फील्डर बना देते हैं, नहीं तो विकेट कीपिंग दे देते हैं. And being notorious, he used to jump here, there, everywhere. Because at that point of time, keepers were very conservative. Come gather the ball, maybe not that dive. थोड़ा सा first slip के तरफ, maybe not. I don't think I don't remember, and I don't know. You might correct me. I don't know if the keepers would even dive on the leg side to catch the balls if the ball was going down the leg side. But that is the thing. That is how cricket has grown. And
Yep.
there has to be somebody who makes the change. Now with AB de Villiers playing those shots, ramp shots so easily. Today's generation, Rishabh Pant is there, Devard Bravis is there. They play those shots so easily. I
Mm.
mean, someone else might come, some guy might do something, something, and that becomes a trend in the future. So that is what happens. That is how cricket has developed. One person tries to do something unorthodox, other players follow. And the best example is mine. Best example is Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Helicopter. He starts with those helicopters, and it becomes a trend.
I think one more thing there, Yashasvi, is that when you said about how cricket has changed, the diving and all those things, right? I think when it comes to fielding, and I'm sure Mahesh will agree that Eknath Solkar, the way
Correct.
he
Yes.
fielded, right? He
Fielded.
was a
Yes.
revelation
Short leg.
in that era, especially at silly point or short leg. In close in catching, he was probably one of the best in the world, and I'm sure that a lot of his contemporaries have spoken about him in
Correct.
great regard.
And I actually wanted to include a few more cricketers, and that is not something which I will hide from. I wanted to include a Vengsarkar
Mm.
somewhere. I wanted to include an Eknath Solkar, Bapu Nadkarni also. I wanted to include, but yes, I was seeing, maybe the book might just overflow. People attention span. A lot of things were going on, and I had a word with Devendra Prabhu Desai sir, and I asked him. And he asked me, how many pages are you writing? I said 170, 180 should be the limit. He said,
Mm.
fantastic. Don't cross that. And
Yep.
and even the publisher was saying 40,000. Try keeping the word limit 40,000.
Mm.
And and so a lot of things should, and because I was in no mood to remove any chapters, which were there. No, I was not doing that. So because every story has, every person has his own story. Every person has done well. So I feel
Yep.
they have to be appreciated.
So, Yashasvi, you've got volume two already in place. You've got two, three players that you already have in mind. You can come out with your second edition soon.
You never know, it might happen. But yes, there are I'm not going to lie. But there are a few things going in mind. But I just, at this point of time, maybe little relaxation is required. There has been a
Yeah, you need to
long.
celebrate this book first. You
Yes.
need
Yep.
to celebrate this book first.
Yes, and I have always said this, and I left college day before. Sorry, yesterday I left college yesterday, and while I was coming, I said, listen, we're gonna have a big party, and we had that, on the eve of Holi. There was a party. Everybody was there who had been with me during the book, and it's fantastic. I cannot actually thank a lot of them.
Mhm.
They have done a lot of things, and people taking out time from schedule, and a lot of my friends who don't even read books, they bought the book. And
Mm.
that is
Interesting.
something, that is something actually which shows, that people have been kind, people have been supportive.
Yep, absolutely.
Correct.
And none better than Devendra to get advice from. He's an
Yes.
author of two or three amazing books now, and he's a wealth
I
of
think four
knowledge.
books. He's already written four books, if I'm not
Four
mistaken,
is
right?
it? Okay,
four,
I
four
don't
to
know the
five
exact
books
number.
four
Four
to
to
five
Four,
five.
five
books
All
books.
right. So sorry about that. I think yeah, but then the most popular ones we already know about, right? So
Yeah.
Sunil Gavaskar, Rahul Dravid's autobiography as well, right? So it's amazing. Yeah.
So, Yashasvi, how can I get your autograph on this book? I've got the book with me.
Yes, I think the page is
How am I
empty.
getting the
Yashaswee.
autograph?
How do we get your autograph on this page?
No, I should be in Mumbai in a couple of months.
Wow.
So maybe,
So I'm
I'll be.
sorted.
Yeah, I don't know about, maybe if he comes to Delhi or somewhere, maybe
Please
when he.
sponsor my flight from Toronto to Delhi.
I haven't,
So
I
how many
haven't
how
even.
many copies have you sold so far?
We have had a good number. We were bestseller in the cricket segment for a few days, 5 6 days.
Wow.
So that actually says that we have done well, and
Mm.
even
Oh yeah,
people are.
without a doubt.
Yeah, people have appreciated the ebook as well. The ebook coming out, the international section coming up.
Yep.
The it has been good, so far so well. 3 digits has been crossed. That was in our mind. So first reach
Mhm.
3 digit, and then it's just the start. And this is something which is not time centric. This
Mm.
is this is
Correct.
history centric. So
Yep.
at any point of time, a person can just pick up the book, scroll through the book, read the book. So that would be easy for him or her.
Yep.
And
True.
also,
Absolutely.
True.
we had a tweet from the the Sports Literary Fest. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering the name. So it is actually very interesting, to see that the book has reached out to people. People have read about it. There have been certain blogs as well about the book. So blogs which I don't have any idea about who the person is. So I
Mm.
feel that test of times has stood the test of times,
Mhm.
and maybe in the future we might see it doing even better.
Yep. Hopefully, through this show, more and more people learn about this book. And if you have seen this show, I urge you to go to Amazon.com, buy it, and do give us a review. Do write to Yashaswee, the author who's here, and let him know how the book was. And yeah, it's amazing that young people like Yashaswee have taken up interest in the history of Indian cricket and are educating the audience of today, as well as people who love to know about Indian cricket in more detail. So I definitely recommend. Both me and Mahesh have read it, and I haven't read it fully though, but yeah, it's amazing to know about certain facts and figures, as well as some interesting stories from yesteryears.
I just wanted to add one point, in campus, the director of our college, his son is 16 with immense knowledge of cricket, good knowledge of it. He read the book, and I felt at that point of time when he said that I learned a lot of new things, and the way you have explained it is very easy for me to understand, has
Hmm.
Correct.
actually has actually made me understand more about Indian cricket, and that I felt for me was success, because I that was the idea. Young people should love the sport, so
Yes.
young people should learn about them, because I talk to a lot, my age group people, and they don't know a lot about these people.
Hmm.
They don't know Lalaji. They don't know, they might know about Vinu Market, but they know him in a bad light. But yeah, people should know about them. People should actually read more
Yep.
about them, and that would be really good for them.
Yeah, I think that you kind of nailed it there, wherein if somebody is reading the book, the simplicity of language plays a huge part in your audience and fan base appreciating the content, right? Because I definitely feel that, and I'm not trying to criticize anybody here, but I definitely feel that somewhere, in the quest to impress, people forget how to express, right? So that's
The
the problem.
content actually gets affected when
Yes,
when people chase vocabulary.
Yeah.
exactly.
And there
Yes.
was one thing that this is one thing that I'll be honest, I'm not a writer. I am not a writer. I'm just a normal person who tried to narrate stories.
Hmm.
I'm not a you can go check my school English marks. You will see how much I used to get while writing an essay. So I just tried I just tried my best to romanticize, to bring out. The book was all about passion. And in acknowledgement, I actually wrote one line in the end after thanking all the people, that I want to thank the energy of cricket that protected me and kept my love for the sport pure. And
Hmm.
that is one thing which I've always believed, that passion can take people a long way. So this book is something very special. And first thing is always special, and the first of many are always special.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
You know,
mean,
Yashasvi, the reason why the book is so good is because you have actually narrated story. You have not written a story. There's a difference
Yes.
between narrating a story and writing a story. If you would have written a story, what would have happened? It would have looked like, some kind of an essay kind of thing. Here, actually, it is like as if you're talking to me. When I'm reading the book, I feel that you're narrating a story to me, which is the reason why this book is very good, and it's very, very reader friendly. Like what
Yes.
Venu said, that anybody who has any interest in cricket should pick this book up, because nobody knows everything about cricket. I mean, whether it's
Correct.
history, records, anything. So this is a good starting point for somebody who wants to know a lot about cricket. And I
Correct. Yes.
think the test of times is very good.
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you. Those words,
absolutely.
those words are encouraging. Those words are very encouraging for me. Fantastic. I feel so happy. They appreciate these words coming out. From people like you. Who have known cricket very well, and so it's fantastic.
Well, thank
Congratulations
you.
once again from us.
Yes, thanks, Yashasvi, and once again, congratulations. And
Thank you.
keep writing well, keep doing what you're doing, and it's always lovely to see young people like you, having a quest for not just learning about game but also spreading knowledge about the sport. So obviously, that's always
Correct.
something which is which we appreciate. And yep, and we are also young, my age, don't forget. So so let's not give too much credit to Yashasvi for being young. So
Little younger. I'm a little younger. Just a year or two. Just a year or two.
yes, maybe we should meet him on the cricket field one day, Mahesh.
Yes.
I'm not a very good cricketer. I say this every day. I'm not a very good cricketer.
That's okay. All right. Thanks, Yashasvi, once again. And yeah, we'll meet pretty soon. Hopefully, with some stuff around the IPL and also, a lot of stuff happening in Test cricket as well. England versus West Indies and Pakistan versus Australia. I hope that, Pakistan Roadways and the Caribbean Roadways don't prepare another wicket for a Test match and we get to see some wickets falling instead of 500 runs being scored on a consistent basis. All right, guys, take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you
Bye
for
bye.
having me on the show. Bye bye.